Let's talk about some good news that involves the royal family.
Let's do it.
We have this story from the Daily Mail. It has to do with Meghan Markle a little bit. Will going woke make Netflix broke? Streaming giant could see shares slump further after losing 970,000 subscribers as it was blasted over canned Meghan Markle cartoon and transgender pregnancy comedy. What?
Oh, weird.
Well, okay. Well, here's the good news. I guess get woke, go broke. Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire tweets, Daily Wire just surpassed Disney to become the 6th largest podcast publisher in the country per Podtrac.
That's awesome.
Disney has a 100-year head start on us. It won't be enough as the years roll on and their war on their own audience continues. This is one of the biggest get woke, go brokes yet.
Did you know that Netflix predicted they would lose 2 million subscribers? And they didn't. So good for them. But they already know they're going to be going broke. I don't know if it's because
from the Meghan Markle fallout.
I don't know. I think it's partly because Stranger Things ended too.
Oh,
so
is that an ad? Is that an organic ad?
That is a real Netflix show.
It's
that was
an ad.
show.
Oh my God.
About a man who gets pregnant.
Yeah, it's weird.
As they do.
But everyone was like freaking out, like they made a woke movie, and I'm like, bro,
like
Junior wasn't woke. Yeah. Remember Junior with Arnold?
Oh yeah.
He gets pregnant.
Oh good lord.
It's like, did you watch the trailer for this? It's not about being transgender. It's about a guy who gets pregnant. It's like Junior Part 2 or like a reboot or something.
So what's the plot there? How's
he like finds out he got pregnant, and they're like, well, we don't know how it happened, but it did. And he's like, oh no, and then it's a guy who's pregnant.
Oh,
where does the baby come out?
No,
I think they mentioned that in the movie. No, his ass or something.
Oh gosh, that's great.
And his butt.
I'm pretty sure you would die.
It's like kindergarten.
Yeah, but look. Disney definitely get woke, go broke. They wanted to play the groomer game. They can win it.
Yeah.
Now Daily Wire is bigger. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. The Daily Wire is only, 7 years old?
Yeah, very young.
Like
less
7.
than a decade, I think. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
That's remarkable.
Here's what I see happening with the Daily Wire, Netflix, Disney. These big companies stood atop this massive shining hill. And everybody looked up at the shining people on the shining hill and said, I long to be atop there with you. And then one day, people started walking off the hill while screaming about weird stuff that made no sense. Daily Wire was like, guys, we can just walk up. Like, they're leaving. We'll walk right up.
Yeah.
They walked right up, and now they're standing there, and they're like, well, look at that. We're just here.
These people, like Walt Disney spent his whole life walking up the hill, grinding, getting to the top. And then once he's there, okay, now he's like, all right, son, would you like to take a helicopter up here with me? So, and the kids that never had to climb the mountain are on the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. They don't understand the struggle. And people like Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring have climbed the mountain to get there. Those are the people we want on top of the mountain that know how to climb a mountain. The mountaineers.
That's right.
And the rest of it's just a skin suit. It's a corporate skin suit.
And it's the same as we were just talking about some of these politicians and the AOCs. There isn't a lot of respect for the patrimony, for what was built before I arrived. I forget the name of the current CEO of Disney, but he arrived with 100 years of this that other people built. And all you have to do in terms of the idea of patrimony and custody is you have to hold it, cherish it, granted try to expand it, but don't destroy it. And since they didn't have to climb that mountain, to use the analogy, since they didn't have to work hard to become members of Congress, they don't have a love for it. They don't have a respect. They don't have an awe of it. So they think it's easy to just destroy it. Pack the Supreme Court. Put transgender cartoons on for 5-year-olds. And it's like, well, wait a second. This isn't yours. You're just the custodian of it. But nope, I'm going to destroy it.
Maybe it's just as simple. I mean, people don't want to work for someone else's project. They want to make their own.
Yeah. Well, they're making their own, all right, but they're destroying someone else's in the process.
We entered this era of meritocracy with the internet where people could make their own channels. One of the things we often run into with hiring is that it's like, oh, hey, we need this job and we need someone who's good at it. And it's really hard to find someone who's good at it because anyone who is good at it starts their own company instead of working for someone else's. So like we're in that era of meritocracy. The internet has democratized the process by which people can contract, get hired, or make their own thing. So who's left to work at Disney?
Yeah.
Woke weirdos? Nobody wants that. Meanwhile, people are launching their own projects, starting their own YouTube channels, or at least trying to do so.
Yeah, we talked about Maker Studios before the show. I was involved with these people, Lisa Nova, Ben Donovan, Dan Zapinski, like on we had the station, 2007 YouTube, all these really popular Phil DeFranco, Dave Days. We all came together to form this like internet union of people, which was the station. Then became Maker Studios when it became a company. Then Disney bought Maker for $1 billion, and they thought they were getting all the talent all the people that had been working through Maker. But when they bought Maker, all those people were like, yeah, you don't, they left. And then they realized we have the name Maker Studios, but we don't have the talent that made Maker Studios great.
This is the funny thing. Like, there's things on YouTube called multi-channel networks, which are mostly defunct these days. And they'd be like, sign with us, and we can get commercials put on your video so you make money, and we get a percentage of it. And then you'd be like, okay, well, I already have ads on my videos. Why should I sign with you? And they say, we'll protect you. We can talk with YouTube. It's a real advantage. And it'll be like X amount of time. They have no control over your content. They can't make you produce content. You're not signed to them with obligations on producing records or videos or anything like that. It's just literally let us rep your ad sales for you. Disney buys it. I remember when I was working at Fusion, there were people who genuinely thought, they were like, when we're gonna do this new project, why don't we pull up our Maker talent pool? And I'm like, what does that mean? And they were like, they pulled up this PDF showing all of these YouTubers on Maker, and they're like, we can get any one of these people. And I was like, sure, you can get literally any actor you want. You want to get Brad Pitt, just pay him. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, these people don't work for you. You bought nothing. You bought the rights to sell ads on their content, and you don't sell ads. You're a production house. And they were like, you mean we can't get these people to be in our shows? I'm like, well, yeah, if you ask them and pay them. But at that point, you might as well ask Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise. And they were like, huh? They genuinely thought buying the network was like buying
the talent.
A record label.
Yeah.
Like the record, like you were signed to this record label, you have to produce 2 albums. We want this album. No, like they could quit at any moment. You had no rights over any of it. So these companies have been completely insane from the get-go. And I think the big issue for the most part is two things. One, they think wokeness works because they don't care. And merit is driving people of real talent away.
Yeah.
I mean, why would someone want to work for Netflix?
No, and I wonder
you're
how
good at it.
And how many of these people have hired, all of the woke HR reps and the woke vice president of what's the acronym for diversity inclusion?
DIE.
DIE, is that what it is, right?
Inclusion,
That if
equality.
you're the CEO, you just hear these people yammer at you all day, all day, all day. This is what we have to do. And ultimately you cave. But what's going to change them is stock prices. Look at, we were right before the show went on, we were looking at Disney's stock. I remember where it was, where it went up to, where it is now. I mean, it's down almost 50%. That has to tell boards of directors to say, I don't care about your, if you think transgender
66.25% year to date.
If you think transgenderism is the most important thing going, the markets clearly show something else. And so you've got to go, because I don't care about transgender. I'm saying this if I'm a board member. I don't care about trans. I don't care about any of this crap. I care about making money. And right now you are not making us money, so you have to go. But Daily Wire is making money. So I want to know why they're making money and why we're not. Ultimately, that's what the board is going to be pushing.
Here's what it is. I had a friend who played in a band once. I have a friend who plays in a band. I don't really talk to a lot of my old friends anymore. But they played like weird experimental music. And they were like, we're going to make it big, man, because this is the future. And I was like, dude, no, it isn't. I was like, I understand the idea of doing experimental music, hoping you find something new that becomes popular. But like pop music is pretty cut and dry as to why people like it. I was like, look, right now, you're trying to sell a product to people, right? You want them to come buy it. So what's someone going to buy? Your experimental new spinach and cheese ice cream or chocolate? And they're like, well, spinach and cheese is gross. And I'm like, maybe. Have you ever tried it? No. Okay, well, maybe it's not gross. You don't know. You never tried it. How about matcha green tea? Hey, in Japan, they got a ton of that stuff. You've never tried it. You don't know if you'll like it or not. Sounds weird, though, right?
It's disgusting.
Exactly. You don't like
Not
it.
good.
So I said, why don't you guys,
I like it.
if you want to be big and
bitter.
famous, if that's your goal, why don't you make a product people will like? Now, you want to do something new and unique, so you're not just making chocolate ice cream. You're making like chocolate with salted caramel, like something. It's a little different, like salt in your ice cream. Yeah, but try it. It is pretty
really
good.
good, yeah.
This is what Netflix is at right now. So what happens is you got an ice cream company that makes delicious cookie dough ice cream, and everybody wants to buy it. But cookie dough ice cream is making people fat. So along comes these young people who are like, you're making people fat. Young people don't like that. What they like is fresh vegetables. You should make our ESG ice cream. Zucchini cucumber surprise. It's the right ice cream to have. And then all of a sudden, no one's buying it. But don't worry. You're not actually correct, but you are morally correct. And the company implodes. And then what happens is the Daily Wire comes along and they start selling chocolate ice cream again because these people decided not to. You can't just think we're going to do this ESG stuff and it's going to work because we are on top. No. There's two mountains. There's ESG, which is a pile of garbage, and then there's Everest. And you're like, well, if we're on a pile of garbage, we're still on top? Yeah, sure, on a pile of garbage. So go for it. Leave the mountain behind. Leave room for Timcast.com, for Daily Wire, for other channels to start rising because you've walked away from it. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
In the name of ESG and other garbage.
It really was in the 90s. You remember probably as similarly. They decided what people were going to like next. It was the marketing companies, NBC, Disney, CBS. They were like, okay, what's the next big thing? Well, frizzy hair and hairspray, whatever. Now it's democratized, I guess is a way to put it. And you can't keep controlling the mind. It doesn't work anymore. People are free. Their minds are free. Now people are just, it's become much more apparent what works and what doesn't.
But in your ice cream scenario, which is what Disney is, the company implodes because no one wants their ESG ice cream. But they still have production facilities, ice cream making machine, distribution networks that have value. So someone will swoop in and take it. I'm saying when it comes to Disney, their theme parks have value. Their studios have value. Someone's going to swoop in and be like, we can't lose the value of these things because you're running a crappy product.
I know you at home, and maybe all of you here, have been driving down the street one day and have seen an auto insurance company in a building that looks suspiciously like a Taco Bell. You've seen those, right? Or a Pizza Hut. And it'll be like, family insurance center. And you're like, that's a Pizza Hut building. Because at some point, the Pizza Hut went out of business.
Yeah.
But there was a building there and someone was like, we can use it. We'll take it. It's cheaper than building one. You see all over Chicago, you see like, it's obviously a Taco Bell, but it was turned into something else. And you're like, that's kind of funny. That's what we're going to see with Disney. Yeah, they got the ice cream machines.
Yeah.
But they're just cranking out broccoli and cheese ice cream. I mean, broccoli and cheese is good, but as ice cream, ooh, I don't know, right?
But they're also pumping out broccoli and cheese ice cream, but it says chocolate on the label.
Right.
Like Thor
lying.
It's not, all these Marvel movies are like, you can call it whatever, but it's just a crappy
well, like
piece of junk.
That's a little too much. Like Thor movie was weird, but it was Thor, but it was like kind of not Thor because they just made it wacky and wild. And it was like sorbet with the colors.
Yeah, they could have called him Gore and made him have like an orange helmet.
Gore was the bad
instead.
guy.
Oh, okay, then Lore. They could have called him Lore, and it would have been like a silver helmet.
Well,
with
it's
the
a skin
same
suit. It's a skin suit. So Disney's got the facilities to produce all this stuff. When eventually they go out of business, like Blockbuster, all those machines will be lying around, and people will be like, "How much for that $10,000 camera? $20? I'll take it."
Well, there is some great statistic. I'm sure we can pull it up. But of the 100 top companies in the year 1900, I think only one or two are still around.
Wow.
So companies do rise and fall, right? I mean, Standard Oil is gone. General Electric it's still around, but it's not one of the top 100.
Yeah, but I bet it's like they all consolidated into one company.
That's what's happening with the banks. They're consolidating.
Yeah.
It was all steel. Isn't that crazy?
So Disney probably, odds are it's not going to last 100 years.
You think it'll get bought by
more.
BlackRock?
Yeah.
Everything will be bought by
Everything
BlackRock.
eventually,
I wonder
yeah.
if BlackRock's going to buy an
Yeah.
entertainment
Well,
company.
The Dutch farmers are being bought right now by BlackRock.
What's that story? Oh, we should talk about
Or
this
they're
Dutch
trying to
farmer
buy
thing.
them.
We should talk
I
about
mean,
Dutch
some
farmer.
of these are still around. Standard Oil, Westinghouse, Ford, Union Carbide, General Electric, DuPont, Standard Oil, AT&T.
Standard Oil, you said twice. How's that
Yeah,
work?
but they're not still like the top 100.
Oh, yeah, it's in there twice. It is. Standard Oil NJ, Standard Oil NY.
Oh, different
New
states,
Jersey, New York.
yeah.
Standard Oil is Rockefeller's oil company that got broke up. It
It's
was
the
basically
crazy
the
thing.
first monopoly court case where they developed antitrust to stop Rockefeller.
All the top companies
Yeah.
are manufacturing and resources.
And
Now what are the
anymore.
top companies?
We sent that all to China.
That's right.
Thank goodness.
It'll be weird, like, and they're not American either, which is a little bit confusing. Monsanto got bought by Bayer. Bayer's
General
one of them.
Motors.
Yeah.
Sears. They have Sears on this list, but I think it's unfair to
Wow.
say they still exist because
I
Sears
don't think they do.
basically does
What a
not
shell.
exist.
Dow. How? Why? That company Dow.
Yeah.
Dow
Dow
Chemical.
Chemical.
And they call it the Dow Industrial Average, as if Dow, the company, has some sort of
Dow
influence.
Jones? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Dow Jones.
Yeah.
Is that-
I think it's
isn't
just the same.
Isn't that just an
same
acronym
guy.
or something?
I guess I would think it's an
I'm
acronym.
gonna look it up. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
It's the same corporate name, and Dow's like they make high fructose. I mean, they make like
I think you need to Google that
Crazy
before you say
stuff.
something like that because you may just be wrong.
they might just be
Sometimes
happen
people
to
have
be
the
a
same
happy
name.
coincidence.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, you never
true.
know. Like, just because my name's Tim Pool doesn't mean I'm anything to do with him. But I did change my name to Tim Pool, by the
Well,
way.
that's what cracks me up about when you find like this healthy bar made by this company, which is owned by Coca-Cola, which is owned by, and it's like, so it's really not like this. I mean, maybe the bar itself is healthy when you're like, this is some local organic. It's like, nah, it's not. It's all made in a factory by
Dow Jones, or more precisely, Dow Jones and Company, is one of the world's largest business and financial news companies.
Yeah, this is Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's the same thing. So the
Created by Charles Dow.
Dow Jones. So he basically has co-opted the the economy by creating this industrial average nonsense and naming it after his own corporation. Dow's insidious.
Is Dow? Dow Chemical is Dow Jones?
Dow
Oh, I don't
Jones.
Yeah. No, he's not. Herbert Henry Dow created Dow Chemical, and Charles Dow created the Dow Jones.
Might be
they
like
may-
Me and you were wrong.
Are they
something.
brothers?
Yeah,
They may
might
be
related.
cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe. I
Not
don't
the
know.
same person though.
Maybe they were secretly married and no one knew about it.
Yeah, what were their
Like
names again?
Ilhan and her brother.
Yeah, right.
Henry Dow. You say one of the guys' names?
Henry, yeah.
Henry Dow, and then the other guy.
All I know is
Herbert
that they
Henry
all
Dow.
used to own great mansions.
They're
along
from
Fifth
very
Avenue.
different places, so I don't think they're related. One's from Canada and Belleville, Canada West, and Charles Dow is from Sterling.
I don't know.
Connecticut.
Are you related to the guy
No,
from?
I don't know.
Okay, I was going to say.
Okay.
This
All
might be
Canadians are
fake
related.
news. You'd
Yeah.
think I would have met him.
Yeah.
It's
Of
nice
course,
when you
yeah.
can like divest your responsibility by having like a distant family member do it for you, or your son.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden,
This is growing into quite the conspiracy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Herbert Henry Dow, and Charles Dow.
Yeah.
How far back does
How
it go?
far back does the
Dows.
conspiracy go? Dun dun dun.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Come hang out live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Super Chat will even answer some of your questions. If you want to check out the After Hours Censored Show, go to timcast.com and become a member. We put those up Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. They're very funny, not very family friendly. We'll love to see you there. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.